New York, the city that never sleeps. The capital of the world, some say. But the stadium that will decide the 2026 World Cup, the most watched game in television history, isn't even in New York. It sits 10 miles from Manhattan, across the Hudson River, in a wetland area called the Meadowlands, in East Rutherford, New Jersey. And it's here, in this $1.6 billion stadium, that on July 19, 2026, the champion of the largest World Cup in history will be decided. The first with 48 nations, the first ever hosted by 3 countries at once. For the first time in 96 years of World Cups, the final will be played on American soil, not in Europe, not in South America, right here in the New Jersey wetlands. MetLife Stadium opened in 2010, replacing the old Giant Stadium which had stood there since 1976 and witnessed decades of American football history. Construction cost $1.6 billion. At the time, the most expensive stadium ever built in the United States, a record that took years to be broken. But MetLife has something that makes it completely unique in American sports. It's home to 2 teams at once, the New York Giants and the New York Jets. 2 historic rivals, 1 stadium. It's one of only 2 venues in the entire NFL shared by 2 different teams, a decision made to split the astronomical cost of construction. In 2014, MetLife hosted Super Bowl 48, making history as the first outdoor Super Bowl played in extreme cold weather. No dome, no shelter, players fully exposed to the New Jersey winter. It was a gamble. The NFL had never done this before, but it worked. And MetLife proved it could host the biggest sporting event in America without missing a beat. This was no longer just a stadium. It was a venue ready for the biggest stages in world sport. When FIFA announced in February 2024 that MetLife would host the final, the decision made immediate sense, though it took longer than expected to be confirmed. The perfect location, 10 miles from one of the most recognizable cities on the planet, with 3 international airports serving the region. World-class infrastructure, capacity for global broadcasts, VIP spaces, and training facilities that meet every FIFA requirement for a mega event. For a long time, another strong candidate was in the conversation, SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles, a symbol of California's technological sophistication. But FIFA chose New York and New Jersey. And the decision revealed something important. The new center of gravity in world football was shifting toward the American East Coast. There's also a curious detail. During the tournament, FIFA will rename the stadium. Due to sponsorship policies, MetLife will officially be called New York, New Jersey Stadium. All MetLife branding will be covered or removed. But for fans, and for history, it will always be MetLife. MetLife isn't just big. It's a technological giant, built to impress from the very first second you walk in. 4 high-definition screens, each 30 by 118 feet, bigger than entire basketball courts. They remain, to this day, among the largest screens of any sports stadium in the world. 10 giant LED pylons at the main entrance, visible from miles away, a true beacon of light leading the way into the stadium. Normal capacity? 82,500 spectators, spread across 3 levels of seating. For the 2026 World Cup, FIFA requires wider fields than those typically used in American football, so the stadium will remove 1,740 corner seats, just so the pitch fits within official FIFA dimensions. It's a detail few fans notice, but it shows the scale of the transformation. Even a stadium built for American sports had to physically adapt to host the most global game on the planet. MetLife will host 8 World Cup matches in 2026, including the final, the most important match of the entire tournament. Teams like France, Germany, England, Brazil, Morocco, Senegal, Ecuador, and Norway will all play on this pitch throughout the tournament. France, 2-time world champions in 1998 and 2018, arrive as one of the tournament's biggest favorites. Germany, with 4 World Cup titles, brings its tradition of efficiency and organization. England, champions in 1966, looks to repeat the glory of Wembley 60 years later, now on the other side of the Atlantic. For many of these teams and their fans, it will be the first time playing so close to New York, one of the most multicultural cities on the planet, where nearly every nationality in the world already has a community. That's why New York's mayor said in the official announcement, "Any team playing here will already have fans on both sides of the Hudson River waiting, ready to cheer as if they were home." In 1994, the United States had already hosted a World Cup, and at the time, it was the tournament with the highest total attendance in history, despite football not yet being a mainstream sport in the country. But that year's final was played in California, at the Rose Bowl, in Pasadena. Brazil and Italy decided the title thousands of miles from here, on the West Coast. 32 years later, in 2026, the United States hosts again, this time alongside Canada and Mexico, in an unprecedented three-country tournament. And this time, the final is right here, at MetLife. For the first time in 96 years of World Cup history, the match that decides the world champion will be played on American soil. This isn't just a football match. It's a historic moment for the world's most popular sport, and a clear statement that the United States has stopped being just a country that watches football, and has become a country that organizes it at the highest level. On July 19th, 2026, the entire world will stop. More than 80,000 people inside MetLife, billions watching at home, on every continent, in hundreds of different languages. A pitch in the New Jersey wetlands, which, for decades, served only American football, will become, for 90 minutes, the absolute center of the sporting universe. Commentators will speak in dozens of languages. Television cameras from around the world will be pointed at the same pitch, and millions of people will pause their lives, wherever they are, to watch that game. And whoever lifts the trophy that night will do so 10 miles from Manhattan, under the lights of the most expensive stadium ever built in America, in a place no one expected would become the world capital of football. We've already seen the Azteca, stage of Pelé and Maradona. Now we know MetLife, where it all comes to an end. In the coming videos, we continue our journey through all 16 stadiums of the 2026 World Cup. If you don't want to miss any of them, subscribe to the channel now. It's completely free, and you'll get every new video the moment it drops. See you at the next stadium!